Hello, bienvenue. My name is Shamsuddin Awon, and this is the THP tutorials. Today, we'll be taking you through French language. So in French language today, what we'll be learning is Passé Composé, right? And what is Passé Composé? Passé Composé simply means past tense. So now I'm going to teach you how to go about Passé Composé, right? It says I put in a simple equation, right? So you have here PP, which simply means personal pronouns, right? So you have your personal pronouns, which is she, he, you, and you, right? And then you have your class. Con is basically conjugation. So the conjugation of verb, être, or avoir. So we'll get back to that. But you should understand that after your personal pronouns, you have your conjugation of the être or avoir. Then plus the past participle of any verb. Alright. So now let me explain something to you. Let me do the conjugation of verb être or avoir. Right? What do they mean by this? In passé composé, you are required to use two verbs, être or avoir. Right? And there are rules as to when to use être and when to use avoir. In using être, this verb, in using être, they have given you a condition. Être goes with 16 verbs, right? 16 verbs. And I know 16 is a lot, right? So then how then will you be able to know these 16 verbs? So there's an acronym for it. So the first one is what? Devenir. Right? And then the second one, so like I said before, Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trump, right? Okay. So the first D here is for what? Devenir. The R here is for prevenir. Okay. The M here is for mourir. Okay, sorry. This M here is for mourir, but anyway, this one is monter. The R here is rester. The S here is sortir. The E here is partir. The V here is venir. The A here is arriver. The N here is naître. The D here is descendre. The E here is entrer. The R here is rester. The T here is tomber. The R here is retourner. The A here is aller. The M here is mourir. And then the P here is partir. So now that you know the 16 verbs être uses, right? So then you ask me, what does avoir use? So apart from these 16 verbs, avoir uses any other verb you can think of. So let's see. Any other verb that is not in Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trump. You have manger, you have chanter, and a whole lot, right? All goes with what? Avoir. But then after that, you have to learn how to conjugate être and avoir. That's why it says here that conjugation of verb être or avoir. So now you have to learn how to conjugate either être and avoir. So how then we conjugate être? Avoir. So but before I go on with the conjugation, what is être? What is avoir? Être simply means to be. What do you want to do? Yeah. Then avoir means have. Okay. So then we start with the conjugation. So je is what? Je suis. Tu es. Il est. With a T at the end. That's the difference between tu and il. Nous sommes. Vous êtes. And then ils sont. So this is the conjugation of what? Être, the verb to be. Je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. Now we go on to avoir. Avoir is j'ai. Tu as. Il a. Nous avons. Vous avez. Okay, we take it again. Avoir, j'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. Okay. So now we have made justice to this. Conjugation of verb être or avoir, and I've explained why it is être or avoir. Être or avoir meaning that if you don't have Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp, you are using avoir. But if Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp is present, you use être. We'll take an example later. So then you move on to past participle of any verb, right? So the past participle of any verb is simply saying that any of the verbs, whether it is Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp, each of the verbs in Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp has a past participle. Apart from that, any other verb that will go with avoir also has a past participle. So now we take Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp. What are the past participles of Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp? So I'll read it. So we have P for what? Devenir. So the past participle of devenir is devenu. Alright? Then we have what? R for revenir. The past participle of revenir is revenu. Then you have what? Monter. The past participle of monter is monter. We can yes, monter. Okay. Then we have what? Rentrer. The past participle of rentrer is similar to monter. Just move the R at the ending, then you put the E there, you put an accent on it, which is what? Rentrer. Then you move on to what? S. S, which is what? Sortir. Sortir, the R at the ending, you move it and it will give you an I at the ending, then you leave it like that. So, meaning that is sortir. So looking at something like this. Sortir. That is the past participle of what? Sortir. Then you move on to what? T. Partir. Partir is similar to what? Sortir. Look the R and you leave it. That's the past participle. Then you have venir. Venir is quite different from sortir and partir. Venir, the past participle of venir is venu. Instead of moving the R and leaving the I, you don't do that. Move IR and put U. Venu. Then you have A. Arriver. Arriver, you move the R, then you put an accent on the E, which you give the past participle of arriver. Naître is a very, very tricky word. Naître simply means to be born. Okay, and to be born, the past participle of this is né, like this. Like I said, in the description box below, you get all this. And then we go on to what? Descendre. Descendre past participle is descendu. Okay. Then you have entrer. Entrer is entrer. Retourner is retourner. Tomber is tomber. Aller is aller. And then mourir is also quite different. Mourir means to die. So mourir's one is like this. So that's the past participle of mort. Then you have the last one, passé. Passé, move the R, put an accent, which will be passé. So, with what I've said with the Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp, if you were paying attention, there's something similar, right? Running through. Okay. If you have an ER verb or an IR verb, the past participle of ER verbs and IR verbs are quite similar, but then in French there's always exceptions. Okay. But then for most of the verbs, see, for avoir takes a lot of verbs. I cannot sit down and say let me take all the verbs avoir takes. So I'm giving you a rule to follow. Okay. So ER verbs, to find the past participle of ER verbs, this R here will be eliminated, it will be removed, right? So it will be left with the E standing alone, right? And with that, you just add an accent on it. Okay. So then this is the past participle of ER verbs, some ER verbs. I repeat, some ER verbs. For example, in French there are exceptions, right? And then you have IR. Right, then how do you find the past participle of IR? IR verbs, you remove the R at the end. Then it's left with I. Then you are done. That is the past participle of IR verbs. Alright. So now we move on. So now we've been through what? The conjugation of être, been through the conjugation of avoir, which is conjugation of verb être or avoir. And I've explained why it's être or avoir. Then you move on to past participle. That is what we just did. So now we're going to take an example. So, like I said, we're about to do some examples, okay? And if you notice in the examples I wrote être and avoir, right? So I'm showing you how to conjugate using être. So now, like I said, personal pronoun. And the first personal pronoun you have here is what? Right? Me plus conjugation of verb être or avoir. So, conjugation of verb être or avoir. And I told you that être or avoir, meaning that if it is Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp, any verb in Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp. If it's not, then you use avoir. And then the verb I'm going to use in question is what? Entrer. And entrer is part of the Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Trapp. That's why I use être. So the conjugation of nous with être is what? Some. That's why they are some. Okay. Plus past participle of any verb. So the verb we picked is être. Okay. The verb we picked is entrer, sorry. So then entrer. So do some entrer. But if you notice something, there's E and S at the ending here, right? What does it mean? If you have an E at the ending, it means it's a female or a feminine gender you're talking about. Alright? The moment you add an S to it, meaning is what? Plural of the feminine gender. Okay. But without an E and an S, you're just talking about singular noun, singular masculine noun, right? But when you add an S to it, you're talking about what? Plural masculine noun. Alright, then we move on to alright, T2, personal pronoun, tu. Then conjugation of verb être or avoir. And here we pick the verb more, and more is inside what? Sometimes it's the event action. So meaning it will go with what? Être. So we conjugated the to more. So that's how you conjugate for être. We move on to avoir, right? Like I said, it's the same thing. Personal pronouns is je, right? The conjugation of verb être or avoir. And the verb in question we are going to use is manger, to eat, right? To eat. And then manger is not part of sometimes it says Van der Tramp. So then it will go with verb avoir. So then how then do we go about it? So je, personal pronoun, conjugation of verb être or avoir. And then we use avoir. So it's je. And then past participle of the verb, which is manger. So the past participle of manger is this, like I told you before. ER verbs, move the R, they put an accent on the E. Manger. And then you have, right, personal pronoun plus conjugation of verb être or avoir, which is avez. So vous avez, and the verb here in question is chanter, to sing. Vous avez chanté. Then it's an ER verb too. So you move the R and you put the accent on the E. So vous avez chanté. Right? And then if you notice here too, there's an E. Yes. The same applies here. E for the feminine singular. And then ES for feminine plural. Right. Thank you very much, and then that will be all for today.